Hi, this is primarily a floor work abdominal class, so you can use this class if you just want a quick abdominal work, or you can add it on to any of the other classes on my channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie down on the ground. Hopefully you have a mat or you have a nice soft surface. And the first thing that we're going to do is talk about a pelvic tilt, which I'm just going to move over a little bit. We have done over and over again in my other classes. So you're flattening your low back down into your floor or mat, okay, tightening your stomach muscles. At the same time, it would be great if you take your shoulder blades and push them down into the surface. Good. So you're nice and tight here. Hold your abs tight. Hold your back flat as you slide your legs out. Okay, and this is working the deepest abdominal muscle called your transverse abdominis. And that muscle is really important for posture, but it's important for avoiding that little pop out that you get if you have poor posture, or if you're standing a lot, your stomach tends to pop out. So it really helps flatten the stomach. And then I'm going to bring my heels back in. Now to add to that, to make it more difficult, again, you're going to tilt back flat. Now I'm going to bring my arms up over my head and straighten out my legs. And you're going to feel that you have to work harder to keep your back flat. You have to really tighten up those lower abs. Okay, great. Good. So that was just a little warm up to get your abs engaged, especially your deeper abdominis, your transverse abdominis. What we're going to do first is bring your knees up into 90-90 position, meaning your hips and knees are at 90 degrees. And for some of you, myself included, just being in this position is a challenge. My back wants to arch up off the floor. So I have to really contract my abdominals to fight that tendency. So for me, it's a little easier to have my knees in closer. I don't have to work as hard. The further out your knees are, the harder your abs are going to have to work to keep that back flat. So it just gives you an idea. So as you're doing these exercises that we're going to do today, really keep in mind that as your legs go out, this is going to really be more challenging, and you're really going to have to work hard to keep that back flat. Okay, great. So we got that down. We're going to do what I like to call either tornadoes or around the world. And let me show you. This is a great exercise because it works your abs, works the rectus abdominis, the obliques, the transverse abdominis, and it also feels good on the low back. It's a stretch. So what we're doing, you're in 90-90. You're going to rock your knees in, over to the side. I'm going over to the left first. Extend the legs out, bring them around, and up to the other side. So this is what it looks like. It's a circular motion. So again, as you're extending out, only lower down as far as you can, keeping that back flat. Back in. So we're going around the world here. I'm starting out in a clockwise direction. Around, that was 4. I'm going to come around one more time. This is going to be 5. Around. And then what we're going to do, take a little stretch break, give your back a little rest and your abs. We're going to go around the world again with crunches. So let me show you what that means. You're going to come over, crunch, around to the other side, upper body up into a crunch, and over, crunch, around to the other side, upper body lifts, and crunch. So you can see this is a pretty complicated movement. Okay, up. We got 2 more sets of that. That was 3 sets. And crunch, This is coming up on 4. Crunch, around, crunch. Last set coming up. Crunch, around, and crunch. Great. Hug your knees in towards your chest. If you can straighten out your legs, and I always say in my videos, grab where you have the flexibility in your hamstrings. It might be here, might be here. I can grab my feet and you'll feel pretty good stretch in your hamstrings as well as your low back. I'm going to do a supine twist. So my right knee comes up towards my chest. Right knee rocks over to the left. I'm keeping my right shoulder down and looking over to the right, getting a spinal rotation. Come back up. We're going to do the other side. Left knee comes up. Left shoulder stays down. Rock the left knee over to the right. Look over to your left, keeping your left shoulder down. Great. Okay. So we have those around the world in the other direction. We did clockwise. We're going to do counterclockwise. Knees up. You're going to flow through it first for 5. And then we do the crunches. I might have to let Honey out in a minute. This is 2. Good. Extend. Up. Crunch. Around. 3. Up. Crunch. Around. 4. Up. This is 5. After this one, we're going to add the crunches. So you're over. Upper body, lower body crunch. Around to the other side. Crunch. Around. Crunch. Around. That's 2 sets. Around. Crunch. And 3 sets. Around. Crunch. That's 4. Coming up on the last set. Around, crunch, and finish it off. Crunch. Good. Let's do your stretches, knees to chest. If you want to add the hamstring stretches. Supine twist. Right knee comes over. Keep the right shoulder down. Look to your right. Other side. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to come around onto all 4s to do a cat camel stretch. Again, this is going to get your spine stretched out and centered. So we got a cat stretch. So I'm letting my stomach drop towards the floor and I'm arching my back and looking up. And then you're going to suck in your stomach. Bring it in, curl up. This is, wait a second, maybe this is the cat. I always forget which is the cat and which is the camel. So let's just say you're going to arch and then you're going to round. And you're going to arch. And as you round, tuck your tailbone under, really, really tuck in. And then we're going to add a further stretch. You're going to sit back towards your heels. Keep your hands where they are. You should feel this in your low back, your shoulders, if you keep your hands where they are. Great. Okay, back to all 4s. We're going to lift opposite arm and opposite leg. Right arm, left leg. And then I'm going to reach back, grab my foot, and I'm going to give counter pressure here. What I'm doing is my hand is pushing into my foot and my foot is pushing back into my hand. And that's giving me a stretch in my quad and my shoulder. Great. Other side. Right leg, left arm. Hold. And then you're going to grab the left foot and do that counter pressure, right foot into left hand and push for your stretches. Great. Back down. Now we're going to tuck your toes under and lift up into down dog. Looks like this. Let me make sure I'm centered here. What you're doing here, your heels are working to be down into the floor so that your calves and your hamstrings are getting a stretch. Your spine is decompressing. Whoops. Try not to let your hands slip. You're just going to hold that. I'm going to bring one leg up. And you got a hip flexor stretch on that lifted side, as well as a really intense calf hamstring stretch on the other side. And then back. Lift the other leg up. Hip flexor stretch on the lifted side. Calf hamstring stretch on the standing side. Back down. Okay, drop to the knees. We get some more ab work. Okay. Now again, today's the day of complicated abdominals. We're going to add shoulder. The first one, I'm adding a weight. You don't have to add a weight. You can start out these without a weight. I'm just going to move down a little bit so that make sure I'm in the right frame here. I'm going to extend my left leg and my right arm. This is a diagonal. So my right arm, let me sit up so you can see this. My right arm, I'm going to be out in a diagonal. This isn't like traditional flies like we did one of my videos. We did flies with abs. This is combining flexion and what we call horizontal abduction. It's a diagonal movement. So it's really good for stretching your shoulders, but working a number of muscles, not just one group. And I'm going to do this on both sides. So your diagonal arm is going to come over and touch your leg. That's this. I think this is also called, in some exercise classes, star lifts or something like that. Anyway, so right arm towards the left leg and extend. Now you can see that my right leg is on the floor. And that's where you want to start. Actually, I'm sorry, even before that is with the knee bent. And this is, with the knee bent, is the easiest. Okay, this is where you can control your pelvis. Your abs are working in a controlled way. With the leg extended, a little bit more difficult, and we want to take it up. Okay, this is the most difficult. Both legs are straight, and you're lifting. And you're going to really feel this. You have to fight to keep your back down. Really important, keep your back down. So let's do 10 of those, with those diagonals. However you want your leg. You want your leg on the floor, that's fine. 2, 3. Really stretching that shoulder out. 4, keep that back down. And 5, 6, abdominals as well as pecs. Shoulders are working. 7, 8, and 9, and 10. Great. I'm going to bring both legs up just to take the stress off my abs. This is a 2-pound weight. Don't go too heavy with this. Again, because you're stretching out on a diagonal. So you can do 1, 2, 3s. Okay. So we're going to go over same thing on the other side. Arm stretches out, leg up. I'm going to have my other leg up for additional challenge. You can also bend that knee. That makes it a little bit easier. Hardest is like that. Okay, 1, out, 2, extend, 3, extend, 4, extend, diagonal movement with that shoulder, it's going up and out, and 6, 7, 8, keep that back flat, 9, and 10. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take both weights in one hand. These are 2 pounds, so that equals 4. So for this next exercise, you can go a little heavier. And let me show you. Again, this has got a few parts to it. You're going to cross to the opposite shoulder. You should feel this in the back of your arm. Okay, cross the opposite shoulder. Then you're going to come up and punch up. So, cross, extend the legs. Abs are working. And punch up. So, the weights are punching up and my tailbone is punching up. This is a lot of muscle groups working here. Cross, up, punch up. And 2, up, punch up. And 3, up, punch up. And 4, up. Cross over, opposite shoulder, straighten up, extend. This is 6 and 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Awesome, good. It might feel a little strange because you're a little asymmetrical here, just using the one arm. But I came up with these exercises when I was recovering from a shoulder injury, and my shoulder was getting very tight. It was almost going into a frozen shoulder. So I use these to help loosen up my shoulder. Again, if you're having a shoulder problem, this is no substitute for going to see a doctor and an individual physical therapist who's going to look at you as an individual and see exactly what you need. I'm just telling you what worked for me, and that's how I came up with these exercises. Okay, same thing on the other side. So cross over and punch up. Cross over, abs are working, and abs are working here, lifting the tailbone up. 3. By the way, you're working serratus anterior by punching that weight up. 2. Another shoulder, a shoulder muscle that's along the side here. And I think that was 5. And 6. And 7. 8. And 9. And 10. Great. Okay. Let's bring the arms up, stretch the shoulders overhead. Pelvic tilt, keep your back flat. You should feel the stretching in low back. As you bring your arms up, the tendency is your back is going to want to arch. So, fight that and tilt it. And you're going to get a nice stretch in here, as well as adding a challenge to your abs. Now hold the arms there, extend your legs out, keep that back flat. Keep working the abs, keep the back flat. Good, you should feel this. And back up. Let's knees to chest. Hamstring stretch if you can. Again, grab where you have your flexibility. Okay, I tend to be pretty flexible in my hamstrings, so I'm over here. Let's do that pelvic stabilization exercise again. Tilt, flat, flat, flat. Keep the back flat. Arms up, hold your tilt, hold that back flat. Great, should feel it. And now extend the legs out. Keep your back flat, keep your back flat. Hold and back up. Very nice. Great. Okay. Let's do one more set of the tornadoes. We're just going to flow through it, 5 in each direction. We're not going to do the crunches, just to kind of finish off your abs. So you're flowing through it. This is clockwise. 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to do one more set of 5 of the diagonals and the crossovers. Okay, so we got 1, stretch out in a diagonal. 2, we're just doing 5 of these. 3, diagonal. 4, keep that back flat, stretch the shoulder. 5, okay, I'm grabbing my second weight. You can go a little heavier for this one. You're going to cross over, extend the legs, up, punch. Cross over, up, punch. 3, and 4, and 5. Great. Okay, we got all that on the other side. So grab your single weight, lighter weight for the diagonals. I'm going to move down a little bit just to make sure. And together, stretch. 2, stretch. 3, back flat. And 4, and 5, heavier weight. Cross over, punch. 2, punch. 3, punch. 4, punch. And 5. Awesome. Stretch, knees to chest. Let's do a supine twist. Right knee comes up and over to the left. Keep your right shoulder down, look to the right. Let's go the other way. Left knee up, over, look to your left. Keep the left shoulder down. Good. We're going to do a piriformis stretch. Right ankle, left knee. You're going to lift up. Now, if you want, you can extend the left leg for an additional left hamstring stretch in addition to the right posterior hip stretch, or not. You can just keep it. And this is stretching the piriformis muscle in the right hip. Helps prevent sciatic, as well as helps prevent low back and hip tightness. So you should feel that back here, back of your hip. And we're going to switch sides. Left ankle on the right knee. Again, you can have your knee bent or extend. I like to put my elbow on my knee just to kind of push it into a little bit more external rotation. So you'll definitely feel like more of a stretch in your piriformis if you do that. Great. Let's just add one more rotation. You're going to bring right foot to the outside of the left knee, left elbow outside of the right knee, and you're going to look behind you, twist. Lift your rib cage, your chest up as you twist, so that you're twisting in an elongated position. And you should feel this is a really good stretch for your spine. I feel it a lot in my upper back, my thoracic spine. And if you relax into it and exhale, you might be able to get a little bit more stretch. Great, let's do the other side. Left ankle, right knee, right elbow, here. Extend, watch your posture as you look back, rotate. Again, I feel this a lot in my upper back, thoracic spine. If you can relax and exhale into it, you might be able to get a little bit more stretch. Hold that. One last stretch, I lied. Right foot into your left knee. You're going to bend forward. You're going to feel this back of the right hip, left hamstring. Again, if you have the time, hold these stretches longer. It's so beneficial to do these stretches. Really helps prevent injuries, so that if you do have a mishap, like a fall, you're less likely to get injured if your muscles are more flexible because they have more give. And if you should slip, if your hamstrings or another muscle is tight, it's more likely to get strained or a tear in it. If it's more flexible, it's going to have more give. So that's why we stretch. All right, great. So you had a great abdominal workout. You learned about stretching, and again, let me know what you think of the class by commenting below the video, and thank you very much for joining me. Bye.